Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri conveys New Delhi's concerns over attacks on minorities to the Bangladesh government. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh commissions the Indian Navy's latest multi-role stealth-guided missile frigate, the INS Tushil, in Russia's Kaliningrad. South Korea bans President Yoon Suk-yeol from foreign travel as leadership crisis deepens. And Taiwan raises its alert level amid presence of Chinese warships. India on Monday conveyed its concerns over recent developments, including those related to the safety and welfare of minorities, to the Bangladesh government. A discussion was held between India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri and Bangladesh's Foreign Affairs Advisor Mohammad Tawheed Hossain. Mr. Misri said that India desires a positive, constructive and mutually beneficial relationship with Bangladesh. He said India looks forward to moving the relationship forward in a positive, forward-looking and constructive direction. The Foreign Secretary said that India sees no reason why this mutually beneficial cooperation should not continue to deliver in the interests of both their peoples.
Had a frank, candid and constructive exchange of views with all my interlocutors. I emphasized that India desires a positive, constructive and mutually beneficial relationship with Bangladesh. We have always seen in the past and we continue to see in the future this relationship as a people-centric and people-oriented relationship, one that has the benefit of all the people as its central motivational force. This is reflected on a daily basis in the development projects that have been executed on the ground in Bangladesh and that continue to be developed. It is also reflected in the mutually beneficial engagement we have on a whole set of issues ranging from trade, commerce, connectivity, power, water and energy, and development cooperation, consular cooperation and cultural cooperation. There is no reason why this mutually beneficial cooperation should not continue to deliver in the interests of both our peoples. And to that end, therefore, I have underlined today India's desire to work closely with the interim government of Bangladesh authorities. At the same time, we also had the opportunity to discuss certain recent developments and issues, and I conveyed our concerns, including those related to the safety and welfare of minorities. We also discussed some regrettable incidents of attacks on cultural, religious and diplomatic properties. We expect overall a constructive approach on all these issues by the Bangladesh authorities, and we look forward to moving the relationship forward in a positive, forward-looking and constructive direction.
Earlier, the Indian diplomat also held talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart, Jashimuddin. They were the first such talks since the exit of Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Foreign Secretary Misri is in Dhaka to lead the Indian delegation at the next round of India-Bangladesh Foreign Office consultations, where bilateral trade issues and other matters of mutual concern are expected to be discussed. Now, this is the first high-level engagement between India and Bangladesh after a political change in Bangladesh on the 5th of August. The last such meeting was held in New Delhi in November 2023. And my colleague Naval Singh Parmana joins us on the phone line from Dhaka. Naval Singh, what more can you tell us about the top Indian diplomats' visit to Dhaka? Nawal Singh, if you can hear me, I meant to ask you what more can you tell us about the top Indian diplomats' visit to Dhaka?
Yes, it is indeed very important meeting between the two secretaries and between the two countries, and it is at a very important juncture of bilateral relation between the two countries after the 5th of August post political changeover in Bangladesh. Today, he is also expected. The Foreign Secretary is also expected to meet call on the Chief Advisor of Interim Government of Bangladesh, Dr. Mohammad Yunus. And here in Bangladesh, the people who were present and the journalistic friends who were at the briefing, the atmosphere was quite positive, and people were optimistic that some sort of issue between the two countries related to the attacks on minorities and the safety and securities of the other Hindu community here in Bangladesh. So now this meeting will take forward the bilateral relation between the two countries, and as our Foreign Secretary rightly said in his briefing that we have a very, very important bilateral relation between these two neighbors.
And before we let you go, Nawal Singh, very quickly, if you will, did New Delhi receive any assurances from Dhaka on the protection of the Hindu minorities and their places of worship?
Actually, there is no updates from the Bangladesh government side yet on this issue. But in last 4 or 5 days, I have observed here in Bangladesh that this after India took up the issue of rights and welfare of minority, the Bangladesh government become more sensitive about the issues, and the chief advisor himself called a meeting of all parties, and then again he called a meeting of religious leader of Bangladesh for the dialogue, and he instructed emphasized that you report immediate basis if any incidents of violence against the minorities and intimidation is there. So on real-time basis, if information is available, the government can take appropriate action. And after that, the law enforcement agencies, police, army, or BGP, they are they seems quite sensitive towards the incidents of violence against the minorities. There are 1 or 2 incidents happened in last 3-4 days, but now.
All right, we leave it there. Nawal Singh, thank you. Nawal Singh Parmar reporting on the phone line there from Dhaka, Bangladesh. In other news, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is in Russia, where he commissioned the Indian Navy's latest multi-role stealth guided missile frigate called the INS Tushil in Russia's Kaliningrad. The Indian Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi accompanied the minister. We now tell you more about the new Indian warship. Now, India's newest stealth frigate is an upgraded Krivax 3 class frigate. 6 of them are already in service, 3 Talwar class ships and 3 follow-on Teg class ships. The INS Tushil, the 7th in the series, is the first of 2 upgraded additional follow-on ships, the contract for which was signed in October 2016 between JSC Rosaboron Export, the Indian Navy and the Indian government. The ship underwent a series of extensive trials beginning January this year. These trials included proving all Russian equipment fitted on board, including weapon firings. During the trials, the ship clocked an impressive speed of more than 30 knots. The ship would reach India in a near combat-ready condition, ready to deliver its effects from the word go. The ship's name, Tushil, means a protector shield. Its crest represents the Abhedya Kavacham. It has as its motto Nirbhay, Abhedya and Balshil. The ship stands as a symbol of the Indian Navy's undying commitment to safeguard the nation's maritime frontiers. On Tuesday, Minister Rajnath Singh and his Russian counterpart Andrei Belousov will co-chair the 21st meeting of the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Technical Cooperation. The two leaders will review the entire range of multifaceted relations between the two countries in the field of defense, including military to military and industrial cooperation. They'll also exchange views on contemporary regional and global issues of mutual interest. Minister Singh will pay tributes at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Moscow to honor the Soviet soldiers killed during Second World War. He'll also interact with the Indian community. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Rajasthan state is paving the way for a brighter future as he inaugurated the three-day Rising Rajasthan Investment Summit on Monday. He called the summit a commendable effort, showcasing how Rajasthan is emerging as a hub for innovation, growth and entrepreneurship. He said the state was powered by a rich heritage, a culture of enterprise and progressive policies. He said India has achieved success in every sector through the mantra of reform, perform and transform, and has become the world's fifth largest economy.
हर इन्वेस्टर भारत को लेकर बहुत ही उत्साहित है। रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म, ट्रांसफॉर्म के मंत्र पर चलते हुए भारत ने जो विकास किया है वो हर क्षेत्र में नजर आता है। आजादी के बाद के 7 दशक में भारत दुनिया की 11वीं सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी बन पाया था। उसके सामने पिछले 10 वर्ष में भारत 10th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी से 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बना है। बीते 10 वर्षों में भारत ने अपनी इकोनॉमी की साइज करीब करीब डबल किया है। बीते 10 वर्षों में भारत का एक्सपोर्ट भी करीब करीब डबल हो गया है। 2014 से पहले के दशक की तुलना में बीते दशक में एफडीआई भी 2 गुना से अधिक हुआ है। इस दौरान भारत ने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का खर्च करीब 2 ट्रिलियन रुपए से बढ़कर 11 ट्रिलियन तक पहुंचा दिया है।
Poland and the Indian state of Rajasthan have a cultural and historic connect. The palace of Jodhpur was decorated by a Polish designer, says Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister. DD India's Vishal Barrister caught up with the visiting minister on the margins of the Investor Summit in Jaipur. Take a listen.
It has been an excellent opening of Rising Rajasthan, and I have with me the Deputy Foreign Minister from Poland. Let's talk to him and find out. After the Prime Minister visited Poland, you are here in India, in Jaipur. What is your reaction first?
Well, I mean, we are here because the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, signed a strategic partnership with Poland, and we are here to start working on it, to implement this strategic partnership. Rajasthan is the biggest state in India. It's very attractive. As the Prime Minister mentioned, there are huge opportunities and possibilities here. We are very much interested in working together with India and with Rajasthan on the green energy, which here is a big center for that, because this is our future. We are very interested in continuing working in the textile industry, with which we already have links with Rajasthan in Poland, in Łódź and so on, our textile center. We are very keen to work on tourism. The Prime Minister mentioned that a number of times. This is a big destination for Polish tourists, of course, because Rajasthan has lots of beautiful places. We also have, maybe not everybody in India know, we have historical connection, because in Jodhpur, the biggest palace, has been decorated by a Polish artist called Norblin, which has the fantastic decorations inside. We want to develop that, and going outside of Rajasthan as well, we have a variety of commercial interests here in mining, in machinery, in pharma. Prime Minister mentioned pharma issues as well. It is connectivity and supply chain management, which is very important. So we are just at the very beginning here to develop, but we became a very strong parliamentary group as well. We've got a deputy speaker of our parliament and members of parliament, members of the Senate, and so on. So yes, this is a very great beginning of the conference, and we hope we can implement some of our common goals.
So there you heard the Deputy Foreign Minister of Poland. He is here with a high-level delegation, and he is very keen as far as green energy and pharma sector is concerned in Rajasthan, and nobody can forget tourism. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Jaipur, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And still to come on DD India Live. India monitors situation in Syria after rebels take over and President Assad flees to Russia. And Donald Trump says he will attempt to end birthright US citizenship, also aims to deport all illegal immigrants.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. South Korea's President Yoon Suk Yeol has been banned from traveling abroad by the country's official corruption investigation office, making him the first sitting South Korean president to be banned from leaving the country. Now, this comes after the country's defense ministry said Yoon was still the commander-in-chief. Yoon is under probe for his declaration of martial law last week. Yoon's grip on power has come into question, with dissent growing among senior military officers against the president and his own party saying it would establish a task force to handle his eventual resignation. However, Yoon has rejected calls to step down despite a criminal investigation against him for alleged treason. And staying in the Indo-Pacific, Taiwan's military has raised its alert level after detecting Chinese warships near the island, Taipei said, as it prepared for likely drills by Beijing in response to President Lai Ching-de's U.S. visits. Taiwan's defense ministry said it also spotted Chinese Coast Guard vessels. It said that People's Liberation Army of China had restricted the airspace off the Chinese coast. There's been intense speculation about the possibility of China launching military drills in response to Lai's trip to the Pacific last week, which included stopovers in Hawaii and Guam. To West Asia now, Syrians poured into streets firing celebratory gunshots after a stunning rebel advance reached the capital Damascus, ending the Assad family's 54-year rule. It raised questions about the future of the country and stability in the wider region. India is monitoring the situation. It has advocated for a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led political process.
From palace to exile within days, Bashar al-Assad's iron grip on Syria is finally over. Al-Assad reached Russia on Sunday evening after fleeing the country. It was a stunning fall, triggered by a lightning-fast offensive by the rebels that seized Damascus within a week. Syrian rebel commander Abu Muhammad al-Golani was greeted by the cheering crowds as he entered the historic Umayyad Mosque in Damascus.
This victory, my brothers, is a new chapter in the history of entire Islamic nation. It is a turning point for the region. How many dangers have we avoided? He handed Syria over to Iranian ambitions, spreading sectarianism and corruption throughout the country.
Russia confirmed that Assad and his family were granted asylum in Moscow, with the foreign ministry issuing a statement that following his talks with a number of participants in the armed conflict, Bashar al-Assad decided to step down as the Syrian president and leave the country. International leaders, including US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres hailed this as a historic opportunity for Syrians to rebuild their nation.
After 13 years of civil war in Syria, more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces have forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. We're not sure where he is, but there's word that he's in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime has fallen.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its oppression.
India's Ministry of External Affairs said it was monitoring the situation in Syria. India advocated the need for all parties to work towards preserving the unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Syria, and advocated a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led political process respecting the interests and aspirations of all sections of the Syrian society. The Indian embassy in Damascus is in contact with the Indian community for their safety and security. Earlier, India issued an advisory to citizens to avoid all travel to Syria until further notice. At least 370,000 people, mostly women and children, have now been displaced in Syria due to the latest escalation in fighting, according to the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. As night fell over Damascus without Assad for the first time in years, the city was eerily quiet, save for armed rebels patrolling its streets. The fall of Assad's regime is not just an end, but a new beginning for Syria, a nation that is now tasked with the monumental challenge of healing, rebuilding, and establishing a functional democracy run by the people. Bureau Report, DD India.
The first day of Donald Trump as the 47th US president is expected to be no less than fireworks. It's evident from the plans being presented by himself ahead of the inauguration on 20th January. In a recent interview, Trump said that he plans to take executive action to end birthright citizenship on day one after taking office. Birthright citizenship is conferred on anyone who is born in the US, irrespective of the parent's immigration status. Trump's plans to end birthright citizenship is not likely to be achieved easily and would face legal challenges. He has hinted at working with the opposition lawmakers on the same. The citizenship right stems from an amendment to the US Constitution. Trump is expected to declare illegal immigration a national emergency when he takes office and order a countrywide crackdown. As of January 2022, the US government estimated 11 million illegal immigrants in the US, but Trump remains open to the idea of protecting so-called dreamer immigrants who were brought to the US illegally as children. Further, he said that he would pardon rioters involved in the 6 January 2021 riots in Washington, D.C. At least 1,572 defendants have been charged in the 6 January attack, out of which around 900 have already pled guilty, including those accused of acting violently in the attack. Trump has assured to look at the individual cases. Before we close, take a look at the scenic charm of Himachal Pradesh's Manali after receiving fresh spell of snowfall of the season in early December. The white blanket of snow has created a stunning spectacle for tourists. India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati has launched Waves, an OTT platform. Waves provides complete infotainment ecosystem to digital media and OTT audiences. If you want great content for free, then download Waves now. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.